Hey all, so I've been looking at enough over the last couple of months to be able to spend some time looking at the new AI tools that are available. Now, I know AI scares a lot of people, but it also excites a lot of people in terms of what it can enable. And I'm definitely in that latter camp, particularly around how it can help user experience in, research and design activities. Um, but similar to the way the web was 20, 25 years ago, AI is very young. We still haven't worked out, best practices or how we lower those barriers to entry or, you know, worked out how we can incorporate it into our daily lives. So I'm excited about that. It's very young, yeah, and those usability patterns will emerge over the next few years. So these series of videos will focus on that usability of these tools, starting with onboarding through to how we ask the AI for information and how we make sense of that information and to get what we want. So hopefully some people might learn from some of this, but I'm also hoping to learn from the community as well and the responses that we hopefully we'll get back from it. Other people might have really good ideas that they might want to share, so we'll see how we go. So as I said, the first video is going to be focused on onboarding. We're going to have a look at a couple of tools. So I'll introduce you to ChatGPT if you've not seen it before. We'll have a look at Google Bard. We'll have a look at Midjourney and just see how those onboarding experiences work. So with that, we'll get on. Okay, so what we're looking at here is ChatGPT. We're looking specifically at the iOS app on an iPad. The first thing you'll be faced with is the fact that you will need to log in. Now, that means signing up with OpenAI. That might be a barrier to some, but I think OpenAI are relying on the fact that people are excited about this and will, want to use it. So assuming that you do have a login, which I'll do now. So once you've logged in, this is the first screen you come to. Welcome to ChatGPT. Contains some really important but brief information around, some of the issues or things to be wary of around ChatGPT. It's very brief, but I wonder whether if somebody's already wary about these AI tools, whether this is causing another barrier to entry and whether it'd be interested to know how many people drop off at this point. Now we're going to continue. And this is the main page that you'll interact with. As you can see, it's very clean, but very quickly for those people who've never used it, at the bottom, you have an input where you can ask the AI lots of questions. You've got some very specific examples above that, which we can click on in a sec. And you've got the versions up top. So 3.5 is a free version, but it's based on data from 2021. So if we talk about inaccurate information, that might be one of the reasons why. It's based on old data. Now, version 4 is a lot more up to date. In this app, you have to pay for it, but you can use version 4 through an app called Bing. So we'll have a look at that in a sec. Now, looking at one of these examples, if we were to click on, say, plan a trip to see the Northern Lights in Norway, here we are. Very quickly, the AI will go away and it will come up with a very, amazing amount of information around a recommended trip. Now, the likelihood that this information was exactly what the person wanted when they came into ChatGPT is very slim, but it does give you an example of, what it can do and the amount of information it can bring back. Now, before we look at, potentially ways that we can improve that onboarding experience, let's go and have a look at Google's Bard as a comparison. And this is Google Bard, available by going to bard.google.com. It's free. It's got a very similar layout to ChatGPT, although probably based on the materials design system, which makes it a bit nicer to look at. But similar layout. You've got the input at the bottom. You've got the examples. Got a bit of explanation text. Bard seems to have a bit more of a personality, or that's what the marketing team have decided. It does say that it won't always get it right. So, and it does say that this is an experiment. But interestingly, it doesn't mention anything about personal data. So that's something that could be potentially improved. Now that may come up in, pop-ups later on or during, more frequent visits. Unlike ChatGPT, you can refresh those examples. Interestingly, that I'm based in the UK and it's given me stuff about comparing college majors, assuming that I'm based in the US, for instance. So again, that's something that I would look to improve potentially. There's other stuff here, so you can attach documents for it to look at. You can use audio. That's coming to ChatGPT. The version I have, it hasn't rolled out yet, but I know that's definitely coming as well. And we can look at those in later videos. Let's go and have a look at one of these, for instance. So sports recommendations. And what this will do is give you a prompt. And as you can see, that's a very, very long amount of text for you to read. And we'll come on to prompts in the next video, but it shows you to get the best out of AI, you've got to put a lot of information in. And again, that could be a barrier to entry for some. So I'm going to press enter anyway. And you can sort of see here the full information. Now it'll take a little while to go away and think about that. And there we go. It comes back in one big lump rather than writing it out like ChatGPT. But as you can see, there's a lot of information there. I mean, it's comprehensive. It's amazing what it can do, but potentially it could be a little bit overwhelming for a new user. And again, that example, the fact that it could be something that person has come specifically to do is very, very unlikely. But it gives you an example of what AI can do. Very quickly, we're going to go and look at two more before we look at, what potentially we could do or, ideate around solutions. Next one we're going to have a look at very quickly is Bing. And then finally, we'll have a look at something completely different, which is Midjourney. Okay, so this is the Bing app, which is Microsoft's equivalent of Google Search. You've got the home button, which is just a normal search bit. If I was to click on the chat, then you start to get the standard look and feel of an AI UI. At the bottom, we've got our input, we've got our examples, we've got which version to use. So try and always use the latest and greatest. So in the Bing app, using GPT-4 is free, whereas in the OpenAI app, you need to pay for it. Again, it says that, it's powered by AI, but mistakes are possible. If I click on one of these examples, give me a grocery list for a seafood dinner that isn't too spicy, it'll go away, have a look at, go and do an internet search, and then it'll start collating some ideas for you. It can take a little while for it to sort of write everything out, so I will speed this a little bit up. Okay, so that took a little bit of time to come back, but as you can see here, we've got a very, wordy explanation, lots of detail. One interesting thing about Bing is it'll go away and show you what it's looking for on the web. It'll go and generate some answers for you based on its internet searches. It'll give you some references down here, which are sort of tagged within it, so you can actually go and find out more information. It'll also give you some extra. So, okay, if I wanted some extra information, I could click on that and then it'll go away and, it will start adding some more detail. So that's Bing, very similar to the other apps we've seen. Now we're going to go and have a look at something completely different, which is Midjourney, which is an app for creating images. Okay, so the last app I want to quickly look at is Midjourney. Now, Midjourney focuses on using AI to create imagery. Now, some of the other apps that we've already seen also offer this capability or are rolling it out. But I just wanted to focus on Midjourney quickly because it's a bit of a different onboarding. If you're used to things like Slack or Teams messaging, then the concept should be pretty familiar. Discord has concept of servers. Slack has workspaces, so you might have workspace for your company, for instance, and then you've got a load of channels down the side that you can join. Now, as an onboarding, this was the page that I got dumped on. It's an announcements channel, not particularly helpful. Now, looking around, you can click on the Get Started, and then you can read those instructions. And one of the things it says is go to one of the newbie channels and type Imagine, which I then did try, and I got that a subscription is required. So Midjourney you have to pay for. Some of the other applications you don't. But to give you a bit of an idea is that some of the prompts that people are putting in into the message box down here to create that imagery. Here's a prompt, and what Midjourney will come back with, and a lot of the other applications will do too, is it will come back with 4 examples, and then you can tweak those examples. Now, the usability of this is a video in itself. I won't go into that, but you can sort of see some of the things that people are able to do with this. And you can do similarly with the Bing app or with ChatGPT 4. Okay, so hopefully that's given you an idea of some of the onboarding journeys of the current AI tools. So I just want to finish off this video by sort of maybe ideating a couple of ideas on how I think they can be improved. Now, my opinions are subjective, they're my own personal opinions, but I just want to promote a conversation. You may also have ideas as well, so please add them to the comments, and then, hopefully we can all learn from each other. Okay, here we are back in Google Bard. I'm not going to be picking on this particular application. I'm just showing you an application. I'm not going to pick on any of them. These are early days in this, these AI tools, and they will continually iterate and iterate and get better. This is probably the worst you'll ever see it. And if they've got design professionals behind the scenes, then I'm sure that experience is going to get better and better. Now, what I'm going to say now is basically, what would I do if I was in a position of influence to be able to make this experience better? And one thing I feel that's missing is that this focuses on people who are happy to go and click around and work out things themselves. Now, it doesn't really cater, I don't believe, for the people who need a bit more hand holding or are a bit more wary. And I think you could probably do a better job by using like a traditional chatbot sort of methodology, which, at the end of the day, this UI is a chatbot on steroids. You could use to handhold people. So one of the first things I would be asking is, what type of person are you? Are you somebody who is happy to go and click around by themselves? If so, go for it. If not, would you like help in just getting started? And through the prompts and questions that the people have got, then you can sort of build up that trust and that relationship with it. So, and one of the things I would also sort of interweave into that is letting people understand what those limitations are, and why they won't always get it right. And also a bit more information around that personal data. I think that's been is skimmed over quite quickly and is quite important at the end of the day. And then once you've found those, I'm not thinking this owner or something. It's very, very quick and quite brief. But once you've done that, you can start sort of saying, okay, what is it that you're interested in? And how, so that these examples are less generic and a bit more specific to what that person's after. I mean, again, the AI could be prompting and helping and sort of, have you thought about this or this or this? Again, keep it brief, but that might help them, people sort of get these AIs a little bit better. I'm really interested in what other people think. I've probably missed loads of opportunities there to improve, the overall design. So if you've got opinions, please leave them in the comments. I'm really interested to hear. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. It was just a very quick overview of some of the onboarding journeys of the current AI tools out there, and some suggestions from me. I'd love to hear what you think. If you've got any ideas or want to continue the conversation, then please just add them to the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. The next video is going to be focusing on prompting. So what information do you put in to get information out of the AI? And I feel there's lots of room for improvement there in terms of usability. So hopefully I'll see you then. Cheers.